Chapter 19, Standards of Conduct. Section 19A, Way of Life. 19.1, Air Force Way of Life. Air Force employees are required to comply with prescribed standards of conduct in all official matters as well as when off-duty. This means military and civilian airmen, active duty, Air Force Reserve, and Air National Guard are all expected to maintain high standards of honesty, responsibility, and accountability, as well as adhere to the Air Force core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. As airmen, we are proud of our high standards, adhere to them, and hold our fellow airmen accountable. Air Force Standards. The Air Force's mission is critical to national security, global stability, and international relations. Each member has specific responsibilities for accomplishing their part in the mission. AFI 1-1 Air Force Standards states the importance of the Air Force's mission and inherent responsibility to the nation requires its members to adhere to higher standards than those expected in civilian life. While current Department of Defense and Air Force policies provide specific guidance on standards, leaders must ensure employees are kept informed of the Air Force standards and take timely and appropriate actions to ensure employee standards meet the spirit and intent of Air Force policy on proper conduct. 19.2 Air Force Publications. Directive Publications. Directive publications are necessary to meet the requirements of law, safety, security, or other areas where common direction and standardization benefit the Air Force. Air Force personnel must comply with directive publications unless waived by proper authority. Air Force directive publications include policy directives, policy memorandums, mission directives, instructions, manuals, instructional checklists and addenda, guidance memorandums, and operating instructions. Each of these types of publications may be applicable to specific levels of organizations in the Air Force as prescribed by the issuing authority. Air Force Policy Directives. Air Force Policy Directives, AFPD, are the policy statements of the Secretary of the Air Force directing airmen to initiate, govern, delegate, and regulate actions within specified areas of responsibility by Air Force activities. AFPDs are written clearly and concisely in a manner comprehensible by most airmen. Air Force Instructions. Air Force Instructions, AFI, are orders of the Secretary of the Air Force, certified and approved at Headquarters Air Force, Secretariat, or Air Staff level. AFIs generally instruct readers on what to do, such as direct action or ensure compliance to standards Air Force-wide. They are written clearly and concisely, comprehensible by most airmen. AFIs may be supplemented at any level below Headquarters Air Force unless otherwise stated. Air Force Manuals. Air Force Manuals, AFMAN, are orders of the Secretary of the Air Force and are directive publications provided as extensions or alternatives to AFIs that generally instruct readers on how to perform a task with detailed procedures, technical guidance, or support for education and training programs. Some AFMANs may include specialized and technical language, however, only when used in a way that ensures audience comprehension. Publication series numbers. Series numbers of publications are organized based on Air Force Specialty Code. Non-directive publications. Non-directive publications are informational and suggest guidance that may be modified appropriately to fit existing or forecasted circumstances. Complying with publications in this category is expected but not mandatory. Air Force personnel use these publications as reference aids or guides. Non-directive publications include pamphlets, basic and operational doctrine, tactics, techniques, and procedures documents, directories, handbooks, catalogs, visual aids, and product announcements. 19.3 On Duty 24/7. As stated in AFI 1-1, Air Force Standards, the mission must be accomplished, even at great risk and personal sacrifice. Airmen are always subject to duty, including weekends, holidays, and while on leave. Airmen, if so directed by a competent authority, must report for duty at any time, at any location, for as long as necessary. For the mission to succeed, we must always give our best. We must strive to be resilient, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and be prepared to meet the challenges inherent to being a member of a fighting force, both in the deployed environment and at home station. Due to the importance of the Air Force mission, the dangers associated with military service, national and international influences, and potential implications relevant to global operations, the Air Force enforces more restrictive rules and elevated standards than those found in the civilian community. General Orders. General orders are often published to provide clear and concise guidance, specifically tailored to maintaining good order and discipline in the deployed setting. Our current operations place us in areas where local laws and customs or mission requirements prohibit or restrict certain activities that are generally permissible in our society. We must respect and abide by these restrictions to preserve relations with our host nation and support military operations with friendly forces. No mission, particularly a combat mission, can succeed without the discipline and resilience produced by strict compliance with these rules. Individuals who are unable to maintain these higher standards or are deemed not compatible with military service will not be retained in the Air Force. 19.4 Responsibility. Air Force standards must be uniformly known, consistently applied, and non-selectively enforced. Accountability is critically important to good order and discipline of the force. Failure to ensure accountability will hinder the trust of the American public, the very people living under the Constitution we swore to support and defend, and who look to us, the members of their nation's Air Force, to embrace and live by the standards that are higher than those in the society we serve. Airmen have a responsibility to learn these standards well enough not only to follow them, but to articulate them clearly to subordinates and enforce proper observation by other members. For additional information on standards of conduct, refer to DoD Directive 5500.07, Standards of Conduct, DoD Regulation 5500.07-R, the Joint Ethics Regulation, and AFI 1-1 Air Force Standards.